Have you ever wanted to eat human intestines? Do you have a Halloween party coming up? Do you just like creeping people out? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then this is the recipe for you. Today we will be making blood intestines and blood Sprite. Your first step is to make blood. The things that you will need is sugar, tart cherry juice, a candy thermometer, pastry brushes, a measurement cup, another measuring cup, that's about 1 cup, a pan that's big enough for 4 cups of sugar and 2 cups of tart cherry juice to boil, and a container to put your blood in once it's all done. And we will be using this blood throughout the recipes, and this makes a lot of blood, so don't worry about running out.
Get a pan that is big enough for 4 cups of sugar and 2 cups of cherry juice to boil, and place it on your stove. You could probably use a pot too. I found that I spilled a lot with this pan. Pour in 4 cups of sugar, then measure out 2 cups of tart cherry juice and pour that into your pan. Secure your candy thermometer and turn your burner onto low heat, and stir. This was my first time using a candy thermometer, so I had to learn how to clip it onto the pan. Instead of using the clip, which makes it fly off, set the crotch of the ball on the edge of the pan. Once all of the sugar crystals are dissolved, set the burner to high heat and let it boil. While it's boiling, use a wet pastry brush to wipe the sugar crystals off the side of the pan. When the temperature reaches 250 degrees Fahrenheit, turn off the burner and let it cool. Once it is cool, transfer it to a heat-proof glass container and store it in the refrigerator until you're ready to use it. Our next step is filling. You will need the blood you just made, vanilla frosting, cherry pie filling, a bowl for mixing, a whisk, and 3 spoons. First, place a large amount of pie filling in your bowl. I used about half the can at first, but ended up using the entire can. Now, take about a spoonful of frosting and put it into your bowl. Next, get your blood and put a few spoonfuls into your bowl. I put another spoonful of frosting in and mixed. I repeated the steps to empty the can of pie filling. Next is our intestines. You will need a cake pan, wax paper, puff pastry, you can find some in the frozen aisle at most supermarkets, an egg, a bowl, a whisk, your filling, red and blue food coloring, a knife, and last but not least, your blood. Pull out a lot of wax paper and lay your puff pastry onto it. Cut it into even strips and place them end to end. I didn't have enough wax paper, so I had to pull out a little more to fit all of my pastry onto it. Now crack your egg and scramble it. Use the egg to glue the pieces of pastry together. Then take spoonfuls of your filling and lay them in the middle of the pastry. You want to make sure that there is not too little or your intestines will look limp, or too much, which will cause leakage. I had too much. Now grab your egg and pull up the sides of the puff pastry and glue them together with the egg. When that's all done, get a friend or unfortunate bystander and make them help you coil your pastry into a gross intestine shape and put it into the pan. Now it's time to get artsy. Take a paintbrush or a knife and your food coloring and draw veins onto your intestines, starting in the creases. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees and bake for 15 to 20 minutes or until lightly browned. Once your intestines are all cooked, get a cute Halloween-y tray and your blood and pour blood all over your intestines. Our last step is bloody Sprite. You will need glasses, Sprite, maraschino cherries, and your blood. Pour Sprite into the glasses and drip some blood into each. The more blood you have, the more it tastes like cherries. I also recommend mixing your Sprite at the end so that you aren't drinking straight blood, unless you're into that. Get someone else to open your cherries for you because you're weak, and drop in a cherry for an added aesthetic. Lastly, get some spooky props and put them on the tray with your intestines, and you're ready for a spooky dinner. And keep in mind that your blood can be used as dipping sauce for your intestines. Enjoy!